Hey, you're muted. You're muted. Listen, he messed up. He messed up. He pulled the kid flu.
What's up, Giants fans, Hub watchers, YouTube subscribers, Twitter and Instagram followers? It's Kush and KB back at it again with another episode of the Young Guns podcast. Minor difficulty, I know. I did not get to do last night the call-in show, but there's a good reason. And I know everybody's getting tired of me saying there's a good reason, but trust,
There's always a good reason.
there's always a good reason. I mean, you guys know this is well, you could look at it a couple ways, but my channel is basically gonna be streaming for a minute until I have time to do videos again. But first and foremost, before I get into that good reason, shout out to everybody here. I see Island Boy and Daniel already in the chat. We got 10 people with us. You
I'm
already know
an
what to do.
island boy.
Smash that like button is the first thing. Let YouTube know that you enjoy the content so that it promotes it more. Hit the subscribe button if you're new, but I think we got the loyalists in here so far. Most importantly, hit that share button. The Giants community is ever growing, especially online. Just share it out so that everybody could come here and enjoy the stream with you. KB, how you doing, man? Nothing too specific about the Giants. In fact, nothing about the Giants. How you doing, man?
Oh man, I appreciate that, man. Well, I'm doing well. You know, it was a nice day. Nice day, pretty easy day of work. First easy day in a couple of days, but yeah, it's just been
Mhm.
extremely hot down here in Florida, extremely muggy. But yeah, I'm pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good as well. Weather is it's not that bad. It was really hot a couple days ago. Let's see. New York things. New York things.
New
Uh
York
no,
things.
nothing really specific New York things wise. But I bought my first car.
Oh, yo,
Yeah.
snap. Okay, my
You know what I'm
man.
saying? It's
Hey,
it's it's the
congrats, my
is is
boy.
the classic first car as a
You don't
in
get an
terms of
image
like,
to us?
oh, I mean, that's so
Told
funny.
you.
Everybody asks me that, and I'm just like, I actually haven't taken any pictures with it yet, which
What?
I guess that's kind of weird. I don't know. I've been kind of focused on fixing up the little small problems that it has
Yeah,
because I was gonna say it's like the classic first car. It
mine.
was like
Yeah, both of mine kicked off.
3K. I was really glad with the mileage. To some people, this is gonna seem like a lot, but in today's car market and for like a used first car around that price, I think it was pretty good. It was like 130K. Um,
That's fine, bro. Especially
exactly.
you're in New York. You're not going 50 miles a day.
And
You're
I'm
in New
like,
York,
if I could just take care of that, I'm pretty sure I could push it to like 200K or just ride it till the wheels fall off.
bro. The
Um,
car I just bought for um almost 8K had like 150,000 miles on it, bro.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so it's a 2005 Hyundai Sonata LX. So
Oh
it
man.
had a V6 in it, which I was like, hold up. I like that. I like the sound of that, and
He's gonna
it
be able
does
to whip
sound
it
good,
out a
bro.
little bit. He's gonna be able to
It
whip it.
does sound good, bro. And the interior, like the LX trim at the time was their top trim for the Sonata. So like it got really nice leather seats that are in pristine condition. Like they look brand new. The seats, they're heated too, which is a nice plus. Of course, power seats. It got wood grain in it, like like the wood dash and the
Oh
wood
yeah,
handle.
yeah.
Like
That's
it
dope.
has that too. I
That's
was
dope.
like, yo, this is great. So
So is
like the
LX
only
mean luxury? LX means
I don't know.
luxury.
I guess that was just their top trim at the time for the Sonata.
Mm.
I'm gonna guess it probably does mean that.
I've seen a
Like
LX
the
for a couple vehicles, like different like Civics
mhm.
have LXs. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think on the Civic, the LX is probably a lower trim. Like different companies, it is how it is.
Yeah.
Like the only like couple problems it has right now, passenger side power window, goes down, but it doesn't go up with the button. The driver, like I would make it go back up. That's probably a
Typical
switch.
used car stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
both
the
of my
back
cars came with a little bit of mixing up.
one of the brake lights is like burnt out, so I got to replace that. But brake lights are really cheap. They're apparently like
Of
six
course,
bucks.
and you could replace it yourself. Easy.
Exactly. So when the back brake lights are out, the only major issue it has right now, which I'm gonna try and get fixed tomorrow, the rubber seal on the windshield, one
Yeah,
side of it is loose, and I'm
that
gonna
is not
try and
good.
just get. It's
That is
not
not
good,
good.
but it is fixable. It's very fixable,
Yeah.
right? It's not like it's an impossible fix. I'm gonna try and go get it fixed tomorrow. So
You
that's why I'm
should
like,
have
that's
had
the one
them.
major thing.
You should have had it say, "Yo, I'm paying X amount of dollars for this. You guys need to fix this before I grab it out the lot."
Oh,
That's
what do you think the lot price was? The lot price was
Oh
Come on, bro.
yeah.
The car market today?
Oh, you haggled
Come
it?
on, bro.
Hey, my man,
You
my
had
man.
to, bro. You had to.
They gave me some bald ass tires in the car I got. My most recent one. I said, bro, I'm not buying this car unless you change these tires, bro. I mean, granted, they gave me more used tires, but they were way better than the tires they originally gave me. Like those, I couldn't even drive off the lot with.
I
But
will
look,
say this is 100% a get you to point A to point B car though. Like
my
I feel like
Lancer,
everything I described it described a
yeah.
point A to point B car. Did it not, KB?
You perfectly you described it basically how my Lancer was in terrible condition, but it looked nice, so I bought it. You know, I was how old was I? 19 years old, whatever, and it was a $1,500 Mitsubishi Lancer that it had an Evo kit on it. It wasn't an Evo, but it had an Evo body kit on it, so I thought it looked so nice, but it had
Shout out to
every
Luann.
problem. It had a bunch of problems with it, and yeah, typical first car stuff, bro. First
I've
car
said it a
stuff.
couple times before. I'm in Queens, New York. So I've met like a subscriber of mine out on the
Yo,
street
we have to talk.
work.
We have to talk. We have to talk. After stream because
Sure.
I'm going up to New York, and I don't know if I'm gonna be staying in Queens, but I would like to. I would like to.
Oh, bet,
Yeah, yeah,
bet, bet. You already know. You already
yeah.
know.
You already know.
Yeah, no, bro. Same thing with people that managed to get a mortgage before 2020. If you got a mortgage before 2020, just like if you got a car before 2020, that was like the perfect time for both of those things. Super cheap at that time.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that's when I bought my house.
yep. This exactly the rent. What the rent is describing is exactly what I have, except it's a '05. The
Mm,
V6 with the sunroof, black on black leather, wood trim. It was
black on
very,
black,
very nice.
black on black.
Very, very nice. No, you're all good, Lewin. No need to apologize. But yeah, like I'm saying, those are really the three major things, KB. And obviously, the last one, which is why I'm getting it looked at tomorrow, is the most major. Uh, but yeah, man, you ready to get into this?
Yeah, let's get into it, man.
Let's get into it. The first one, I still haven't found the files, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I just have to.
Topic intro
Ah,
files.
the topic intro file. I still didn't find it. It is what it is.
It is
We'll
now
get
called
right
the X
into.
Files.
I don't know. Yes. We'll get right into what the thumbnail was, which is Mr. Darren Waller. We saw this preseason game, which uh we could do a general breakdown of, but we could get right into it. It's up to you. Just amazing, amazing work from the Giants starting offense. I think the starting defense stayed out a little bit longer than the offense did because I feel like I just saw them more than I did
Mhm.
the offense. I could be wrong about that. We'll start off with the offensive side of the ball, though. This man was obviously the engine of it with Saquon off the field. And I say that because I still think Saquon is going to be a major part of this offense when he is on the field. But Darren Waller, man, completely ran through him. I feel like if
Mhm.
they could have, they would have made every single pass play to him, just like we've been hearing in training camp and in OTAs. How did he look to you, KB? Because this was just, it was literally like having a Travis Kelsey version 1 point, like 0.8 or something, not 1.0, 0.8 version on there.
Yeah, first before I start with that, to your point of the offense and defense, I felt like the offense and defense, the starting guys were kind of out there at the same amount of time. But however, Daniel Jones was pulled and Darren Waller was pulled after that first drive. So it
Yeah.
didn't, yeah, it looked like they got pulled sooner. But I think the rest of the guys were out there just as long as the defense was. But however, as far as Darren Waller goes, man, and how that offense ran. It looked so beautiful to see. And I know everybody, including Giants fans, but people who aren't Giants fans are like, guys, calm down. It's the preseason. You don't understand how long we've been looking for a competent offense. We're talking, how long are we talking? Over 4 years of a lackluster offense that cannot score ever since Eli left, pretty much. I mean, Daniel Jones,
Well,
is
last
not
year we
is
did have offense that could score. We were great in the red zone.
great in the red zone, however, but we only score like 20 to 21 points a game, which is
I
not
know, I
good.
agree. I,
You
I
know what I'm
feel like I
saying?
need to put that in there though, because last year compared to every other year that you're describing was still such a step up
I
above.
agree. I agree. Even in the Eli years, we weren't good in the red zone,
The only
especially passing the ball.
year 2016 like puts a shield on so many people's eyes because realistically speaking, the last great offensive year we had, the last good offensive year we had was last year. That was a good offensive year,
Mhm, mhm.
but the last great offensive year we had was 2015.
Yeah, yeah. Eli hit like personal records in that year.
That
Um,
was the Drew Brees shootout year too.
yeah, yeah. A lot. There were a couple shootouts that year too. So, as far as that goes,
Eli,
Darren
I think
Waller
that
was
was his
great.
last Pro Bowl, and like it got people
Yeah,
back on the Eli train
yeah.
briefly.
It
And
did.
yeah. Shout out to Tudo for the $5 super chat, man. Thank you. He says massive salutes and respects to Big Boss, Mushing KB, and all diehard Giants fans in America. Please slap all stinky boys losers out the door. Forget about it. You already know. And I'm gonna do one more joke chat right here before KB gets back because I found this hilarious. Shout out to Charles Barkley. Chuck, aren't you supposed to be preparing for like NBA on TNT or something, man, in like a
Yo,
couple months?
Chuck was a buff dude, damn.
Yeah, you didn't know?
Yeah,
Bro,
oh,
Chuck in his prime was like super
he
buff.
every time I
He
watch his highlights, he always looked fat, but
No, I was gonna say he had Shaq syndrome just way earlier. He got lazy. Like
mm.
Shaq is one of the most dominant players in NBA history, but notoriously lazy. If he wasn't
Yeah,
lazy, he would have been
yeah,
hands down the greatest player on earth.
yeah.
But he says over under on Cowboys forfeiting at halftime because they're losing by 50. I'm going to over.
I'm going the over.
I'm going to over.
Oh man.
Well, go ahead, KB. Yeah, we would left off right on the last time the great offensive year was 2015.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so refreshing to see that from this offense, even though it's the preseason. I said this in my video after the game. I said this was against the starting Carolina Panthers defense, and granted, it is a preseason game, so the stakes aren't as high. Maybe the guys aren't playing as well as as great as they should be. But this is a team that struggled against the Carolina Panthers defense just last year in Week 2 in our home opener, where we won 19-16, and we had to, bro. It was a miracle by the football guys that Baker Mayfield squandered that game and we won. I mean,
I
we
completely
probably
forgot Baker was on the Panthers last year.
exactly we probably shouldn't have won that game, but we wound up winning that game, and we got out with the skin of our teeth in our home opener, and yet we go back in this year against the same guys in that defense, just with added guys on our offense, and we go out there
Younger
and
QB
dominate.
though, definitely making more mistakes.
Yeah,
QB.
definitely making more mistakes, but I'm talking about against that defense. That Carolina defense is
Mhm.
basically the same as the Carolina defense we faced last year. I mean, there are no like missing pieces there. Dante
Did
Jackson's still
Brian did
there.
Brian
JC Horn's
Burns
still
play?
there.
Did he play?
Now I don't think Brian Burns played. He's like the most best player on there, but
Yeah.
everybody else played.
I
And
I mean,
yet
I'm gonna keep it real with you. I think he might have been shut down by Thomas anyway. And I love Brian
true,
Burns.
true,
If you guys could
true.
go back, like some of my very first videos on this channel is the 2019 mock draft. Brian Burns was who I wanted with our 19th pick or whatever it was, or 15th overall pick, because everybody loved Clelin Ferrell, who turned out to be a bust, but he was picked way too high. That's a whole other story. But I love Brian Burns,
Yeah,
man. I'm glad we got Dex though, so there's that.
yeah, yep, yep.
That 2019 draft is just so fun to look back on. I don't want to get too distracted, but I've been looking as I'm getting back into just general football YouTube, KB. There's a lot of retrospective videos because it's that time in those players' career. They're
Yeah,
not going
yeah.
into
To
like
look
their
back
fifth,
on, because
sixth
now they're
year.
going into like their second contracts and stuff like that.
Exactly. And it's you see it. Funnily enough, this is a whole lot of conversation as well. You don't see much of DJ and Kyler comparisons, which I think you should see more of because I think Daniel Jones is the better quarterback. And I will say that with full confidence. He didn't need to have a clause about studying in his contract, man. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. That is true.
But getting back to Mr. Darren Waller here,
Yeah, I mean
you saw from him because I
three
know you be
receptions.
watching film too.
Yeah, so I made a video based on the offense yesterday that came out where I went through every single play of that offensive drive and just how they schemed up for Waller. A couple of plays and one in particular wasn't even meant for Waller. It was the second play. It was supposed to be a screen pass to Matt Breida, but Daniel Jones saw that matchup, looked backside, and just threw it to Waller because he bullied JC Horn to the ground. And so Jones saw that and just threw it to him immediately. So that's the kind of effect that Waller has. On top of that, that touchdown pass to Daniel Bellinger was also a big part of Waller too, because Waller was the distraction there. He went upfield and Bellinger went underneath, and Waller attracted two defenders and Bellinger had nobody underneath. And that's the type of attention that Waller grabs in the red zone. That it doesn't have to necessarily be him receiving the ball all the time. He can definitely be a guy to distract and sort of eat up a lot of coverage. So as far as the impact of Darren Waller has on this offense, man, it's insane. Like I said, he had 3 catches, 30 yards. It should have been like 4 catches, 45 yards, but he couldn't hold on to the ball as he went to the ground. To be honest with you, I thought that should have been a catch down, and then he dropped it after he went down because he caught the ball, turned around. It looked like he made 2 steps, got hit, and when he came to the ground, he like let go of the ball, but he had already his knee down. So I would have count that as a catch. and he just
There's
dropped the ball. Like,
there's two opinions I've seen on the catch, and I want to hear your thoughts on both of them. Well, you kind of just gave your thoughts on one. The first one, which is he caught the ball and he took at least a single step, which means not only did he get the ball, but he should have had control over it to go to the ground
and he turned
with
around
it,
and
whatever the
everything.
case may be.
Yeah,
And then the other school of thought is that DJ threw it a little late, and when you look at it, he did kind of throw it a little late. It's not
he
terrible, but
did throw it a little
if
late.
you throw it a bit earlier, that's also another thing where it's like Darren would have had probably would have kept onto the ball because he maybe would have had that extra split
He would have
second
more room.
to and room, yeah, to prepare for the defender. What do you think about the second one? Since you already talked about the first
I
one,
think both. I think both are true. I think both are true. I think like first of all, Waller, as much as we love him, he's just got to hang on to that ball. I mean, he got hit, but he's a big dude, bro. He's 6'6". Like, if anybody can get hit and hold on to the ball, it's Darren Waller. He's got to hold on to that ball. But Daniel Jones, looking back on film, he did. He was coming out of his step, but I felt like he could have like ended his drop back a little earlier, just seeing a butt naked Darren Waller downfield. So yeah, I think both are true. Well, Jones probably should have thrown it a lot sooner. Not a lot sooner. It was only like a split second
yeah,
between the time to
exactly,
throw it. But
yeah.
if he did throw it in that specific time frame, yeah, he probably would have had a catch and some extra yards, and he would have had some time to prepare for the hit. So yeah,
This is true.
studying the
And
playbook.
then And then I didn't watch the Johnny Manziel's Netflix documentary yet. I've heard it's good.
I
Apparently, he
gotta
has
get
something very similar,
I have to get Netflix because my Netflix account was on my parents' account. And we don't live in the same household, so now they got me with that, but they finally got me
bro.
with that. So now I gotta freaking
Bro,
pay.
but like apparently there was. I'm surprised this story never came out. I guess Manziel just had so many other stories that this one really wouldn't have mattered. But apparently they had something very similar where it was like he had the iPad and you could track the watch hours on the iPad and he had 0 watch hours. That's crazy.
So apparently that is a normal thing always been. Every single team has a track record of how many hours or minutes or however long you are watching film, which I think is pretty dope. That is so cool
Yeah,
to see. But there were football players that came out after the documentary. They either tweeted it or said it in an interview or whatever, and they were like, everyone knows that if you don't want to watch the film, you just turn on the film and you go do whatever you got to do. That's
that's
like a
true.
that's like
That's
a
true. That
un,
just
it's
sounds
like
like
an untold secret. They said
it's
it was
not
a
even an untold secret. It just feels like a common sense hack, you know?
yeah. It's just common sense. But how dumb could you be to just say, no, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just not going to watch the film. Like, and everybody knows that you're being timed. Like, I don't think he just didn't care. I don't understand.
Hmm.
And this is before the year of NIL and stuff like that. So it's like coming out of college. Sure, he was Johnny. What was it? Johnny Money,
Johnny
whatever.
Football.
Johnny Football, and he had the whole
Money
money
Manziel,
thing.
Money Manziel, and Johnny
Money
Football. That was
Manziel.
the nicknames.
Yeah, Money Manziel, like he had just got into the league, and I think the stardom kind of hit him, even though it was undeserved because it's not like he had an NIL deal before. And then now, as soon as he got into the league, he had commercials and deals, bro. Like he was gonna be crowned as some great football player. And I remember specifically because that was the 2014 draft, right? That was the Odell's
Yeah, that was
draft.
2014.
That
Yeah.
was Odell's draft. And I remember watching the preseason game between the Browns, and I believe it was the Browns and not Ravens because they're divisional opponents. Whatever it was the Browns and someone. It was his debut. I think it was the Lions. And he threw for like X amount of yards and had like a 40% completion percentage. And they were like praising him as the best thing ever. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But yeah,
Mhm.
that was not to get off on too much of a tangent, but yeah, Johnny Manziel was a moron, man. But yeah.
And that was no, I don't disagree with the tangent because I just found it so interesting. I'm like, he had so many other stories around him that one just kind of got shuffled under the dust. And we keep getting distracted from Darren Waller, but not to understate how much of an impact Darren Waller is on this team. Another common sense thing, once he starts getting enough targets like that, teams are just going to start focusing in on him. And then you got guys like Paris Campbell getting open. Then you got guys like Slayton getting open. Then
Mhm.
if Shepard makes his way up, you got him getting open. And Jalen Hyde is definitely going to make a way up. He's going to get open. I think the real question here is the question everybody, Giants fans, media personnel, everybody's been asking. What do you think about his health? I think personally he looks great.
Yeah, and I know it's like not right to like talk about it because it's like you just don't talk about it, but let's be real here. Like we haven't had injuries. like that. We haven't had people get hurt, and I think it's because how well they're managing stuff in that Giants facility with the veteran rest days. You had a couple of guys take veteran rest days. I saw on Twitter yesterday a couple of guys took some veteran rest days, and it's like that's not something you see from previous regimes. You always saw everybody out there in practice every single day, especially Joe Judge's regime. Like he was like a no BS type of guy, and he didn't like give special treatment to anybody. And so everybody had to earn their reps, and so everybody was out there in practice. And yes, that type of stuff does cause injuries. And I think another thing is that those new padded helmets, which is pretty cool to have during practice. I feel like they should have had that a long time ago. Being the NFL should be the
I
most
saw
innovative in technology. They should
I
be the
saw
most
a tweet,
innovative in
KB,
technology.
and I gotta admit, bro, I kind of agree with the tweet regarding those helmets. It was so simple. It said, if these are so much safer and they're proven to be safer, why don't they wear them during the season?
I heard somebody say if players wanted to wear them, the NFL will say no, and it's because aesthetics. It's because they like the look more than the safety.
Yeah,
And on
and that's when it comes in. You're like, all right, how much
yeah.
do y'all really care about player
Exactly,
safety?
exactly. And that another thing to consider is a lot of the players say they didn't realize how heavy those things are. I don't know if those will have like long-term effects if you keep those on because that's a lot of pressure on your head.
On
Those
your
helmets
neck? Yeah.
those helmets are already kind of heavy. So and then when you put those pads on, those things on, I don't know. I think it'll be player preference. Um but I wouldn't. I mean, I don't think anybody's gonna care if you have a helmet on. Like, I don't think. Of course, as a fan, you want to be kind of aesthetically pleasing too, like the helmet, the nice helmet, stuff like that. And I'm sure the NFL, that's exactly why they don't want them to wear that. But I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind for the safety of the players. But as far as Darren Waller's concerned, he's looking very healthy. They haven't had. I think I think he got tweaked up a little bit in practice during either OTAs or training camp, but he's fine. He's fine. But yeah.
Shout out to Nerding on Sports. What up, Rob? How you doing, man? All right, it's time to go to the person that was throwing him the ball that also had a really good game, and I've seen the QB school talk about him. I've seen Pat McAfee
I
talk
have
about
to
him.
watch the video because I wanted to cover it. Yeah, I gotta watch the QB school video.
I've seen people talking about him that weren't really talking about him last year, man.
Mm,
Mr. Efficient and Precise. That was the best way to describe Daniel.
yeah,
Like
perfect.
you said,
He was perfect.
almost perfect. The drop from Darren Waller made it that one blemish, but even then looked great. He still had a couple of mistakes. Like the throw to was it Paris
Paris.
Campbell?
I know exactly what you're talking about. It was behind him,
And
and it made Paris didn't
I'm talking
hit
about in
Paris
the
in
red
stride.
zone, yeah.
Yeah, didn't hit
Yeah,
Paris in stride, and
if
Paris
he
had
hit
to
him in
adjust.
stride, that would have been the touchdown right there. But I mean, he
Yeah,
got the touchdown the next play anyway, so it's not like
yeah.
it really mattered too much. But
Hmm.
it's really, really good, and that was our quote unquote vanilla offense for the preseason. So that you could, I'm opening this up as well, KB, to talk about Mike Kafka, how the offense looked like in general. Give me your thoughts on Mr. DJ.
I think first of all, I don't even know. I'm kind of weirded out a little bit by what we're doing in the preseason because not just on offense, but even on defense, like we're running some complicated plays in the preseason. I'm like, is this the most basic you guys have? Or are you guys actually showing your hand here? You kind of like teasing the
Like
NFL.
the same thing I was gonna say. Both of that Paris Campbell play and the play after it got the touchdown. I think it was a RPO fake or something. I could be wrong. That's something I'm like, yo, why are you showing this in the preseason right
Bro,
now,
they
bro?
had a
Because
lot of stuff.
that
The
looked like some good
Isaiah
design you could have kept.
the Isaiah Hodgins play was like ridiculous. I mean, there was no that was the type of play that the defense needs to be absolutely perfect for them not to allow a reception there. And like the Giants showing their hand in the preseason that play is kind of like weird. But um, you know, as far as my Kafka goes and the plays, the designs are fantastic. The designs are great, and I know for sure this is not everything that we're going to see in the season. They've got a lot more stuff cooking up. They try to experiment with some stuff that I didn't like. The Jalen Hyatt jet sweeps. He doesn't do that. He didn't do that in college. He shouldn't do that now. I don't know why they try to get these wide receivers doing that stuff. Like they had Wandale trying that as well. Wandale is more suited to do that kind of stuff, but not Jalen Hyatt. He's not a horizontal runner. Um, I finished KB's video, then QB School's video came out. Hey, appreciate that, Steve. How'd you enjoy it? I hope you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, um, yeah, I love the designs of the plays. I think Daniel Jones was he operated it perfectly. Yeah, like you mentioned, there were some blemishes there. The Paris Campbell kind of throwing behind him a little bit, kind of got him away from getting that touchdown and catching him in stride. And then also the Darren Waller missing him by like a millisecond for him to be able to have time to make that catch and brace for the hit. But Daniel Jones was perfect. The one underrated play, the 6-yard rollout that he had, the 6-yard evading the pressure and picking up 6 yards. If you remember that play, he dropped back, nobody was open, and then Mark Lewinsky did not pick up a stunt rush, and then he
Don't
stepped
remind
up
me
in
of
the
Glow,
pocket.
bro.
Oh my, yeah, stepped up in the pocket, planted his foot, completely had Yetter Gross Matos swirling like a ballerina, went right around him and dipped for 6 yards. I mean, that was great to see. His pocket awareness, his footwork is fantastic. I mean, it's getting a lot better. Daniel Jones legitimately looks like a not only just a starting quarterback, he looks like a good starting quarterback out there. Like he looks like
I
a
mean,
respected starting quarterback out there.
I
Like
was gonna
he doesn't
say
look like a joke.
we gotta change our vocabulary a little bit because I think we both agreed after last season he is a good starting quarterback. So maybe we gotta change
Right.
the vocabulary to from good to he looks like a really good starting quarterback.
Yeah.
And then hopefully by the end of the year, the dream is he looks like a great starting quarterback.
Yeah, because for years before, I would say before this year, and we saw a little bit in 2021, but that was such a horrendous season. And of course, DJ got hurt in that season. But prior to that, he was playing decently well. But prior to 2022, I mean, he was kind of looked at as, especially from the majority of NFL media, not just the Giants fans, he was just kind of looked at as a quarterback that is going to be eventually replaced, a guy that is probably just starting at quarterback just because the situation fits so, just like a Jake Locker, just like a Chad Henne, just like plug in any average, below average starting quarterback.
Matt
Um,
Schaub
Matt
when he was
Shaw,
with the
Brian
Texans.
Hoyer, yeah, someone like that. And for years, he was looked at like that, especially from the daytime TV sports media. And now they're
Which I
actually
will say,
giving
by the
him
way,
his flowers.
some of them are good respect, and I definitely gotta get your thoughts on this. Some of them may be overrating him a little bit, but I appreciate the
Yeah,
support just
yeah,
because
I agree.
there's,
But I'm gonna
you
let it
know what,
slide.
bro? I'm gonna let it slide completely because there's
Yeah,
nobody else, and I love the fact that he tripled down today. You guys know who I'm talking about, and if you don't, it's Mr. Greg Jennings, who was a
he
great
really
wide
likes Daniel
receiver.
Jones.
Yeah, and people are like coming on here acting as if Greg Jennings wasn't anything in his career. He's gonna be maybe like a second or third ballot Hall of Famer if he does make it. But he was a great wide receiver with the Packers in his prime.
Mhm.
And he helped them on that run to the Super Bowl. It's not like he was some type of scrub in the NFL. He loves Daniel Jones, as KB said. I think it started maybe 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, where he came out and he said Daniel Jones is a top 10 QB, and ever since he's been doubling down on it and just continuously
Isn't
saying
hold
Daniel
on?
Jones is a top 10 QB.
Isn't Greg Jennings put the team on my back?
I
Isn't
think
isn't
he
that
is.
him? Is
Yeah.
it Darren Sharper, the hardest hitting safety in the league? I put my team. Yeah, yeah. I think that's Greg Jennings. But yeah, Greg Jennings showed a lot of love, and it's weird because on the opposite spectrum, James Jones, who played for the Giants for a preseason, for another former Green Bay Packers wide receiver, does not like Daniel Jones like
Oh
that.
my God, LaShawn McCoy apparently
LaShawn
hates him.
McCoy
We
hates.
all know Joy Taylor for whatever reason hates Daniel Jones, and that's
Isn't
the one
Joy
that annoys me
Taylor?
the
Is it?
most.
Isn't it because Joy Taylor's a Cowboy? Is Joy Taylor a Cowboys fan?
I don't know what she is.
I
I'll
think
be
she's a
honest with you,
Cowboys fan, if I'm not mistaken.
but for some reason it annoys me more that Joy Taylor is just a hater of Daniel Jones.
I've grown as fine as Joy Taylor is. I despise her on TV because she knows what the hell she's talking about. Don't get me wrong. She knows football. She knows ball. Like, but you could hate somebody that knows ball. Okay, I don't like
Yeah,
a lot of people on TV that know ball. Okay. I don't like Joy Taylor and I hate her takes on the Giants because she craps on them all the time for for no reason on Daniel Jones. Why are you saying these things about it?
always. I think that's why it
Oh,
annoys me because they'd be just talking about the Giants, and then Joy Taylor would just bring
she
up
gives
DJ
him,
for no
she gives
reason.
him zero credit. Oh, and another one who is not fine. And in fact, I find repulsive because she's just so annoying. Mina Kimes. Mina freaking Kimes.
I'm not
Garbage.
gonna hold you. I'm low key a fan of Mina Kimes because other than the Giants, her football takes are actually really good. in my opinion.
Okay, I
There's
have to
nothing heinous out
watch.
there.
I have to watch her football takes, but every time she's so over, like she kind of acts like this is something I do enjoy. She acts like a YouTuber on ESPN a little bit. Like her character is very like out there, like how we act on this show. It's not like
Yeah.
as professional like as the other guys around her, which I like. It's refreshing. But she, oh my god, she does this on purpose. When the Giants played their first, no, it wasn't their first preseason game, was it? It was, it was this game that we just played. She tweeted and was like, "Wow, Dable and Mike Kafka are amazing." I was like, "Bro, you're not gonna give any credit to Daniel Jones. He ran the offense perfectly. If you saw that
Oh, my shoulder hurt.
if you saw that Isaiah Hodgins play, bro, Daniel Jones had multiple reads before he got to Isaiah Hodgins and knew exactly what he was doing. He got so much better with his play actions. It's so smooth, so great. His footwork is
We
fantastic
always
now.
knew that he was a pretty good mobile quarterback, but
Yeah.
building off of that footwork that you just mentioned, he's gotten a lot better with manipulating the pocket too.
Yeah, and on top of that, there is not. You guys can clip me on this. There is not 10 other quarterbacks in the NFL right now that throws a prettier ball than Daniel Jones. There is not. There's not.
All right, so you Greg Jennings.
If you no, I'm not saying he's a top 10 quarterback. I'm saying
Just
a
saying.
thrower. I'm saying how he throws the football is one of the best in the league right now. If you were to see a football flying in the air from if
It's
you
like a
blur
perfect spiral, yeah.
if you blur out the quarterback, and you see the ball going from point A to point B, and you're like, damn, that is a beautiful throw. That has to be coming from an elite quarterback. And then you unblur it and it's Daniel Jones. And some people are gonna be like, oh, Daniel Jones. Yeah, it's Daniel Jones. He throws one of the better. Oh my God, this guy. I know the guys in the Giants media, when they record practice on stuff like that, they're getting some amazing B-roll shots because that ball flies so beautifully in the air. As much as I love Eli, bro, the ball, the freaking throws that he makes were so wobbly. Like
Always wobbly. Always
Odell
wobbly.
bailed him the hell
Even
out so many times.
I'm gonna ignore that. And even in his prime, though,
He
some of
did.
Eli's throws were wobbly.
Bro, let's be real. I mean, I love Eli, but the Odell famous
We're
catch for
not
the
going.
Cowboys was a
We're not
bailout.
gonna do none, bro. We're not gonna do none right now. Not too much. Not too much on Hall of Fame quarterback Eli Manning,
You're
bro. All
right.
right.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
What was it this year or is it next year that he's eligible?
Yeah, I think it's 5 years after they retire. So I think it's next year.
Next year. Bet. Okay. Because I was kind of keeping my eye out. I was like, I didn't see his name. It's got to be next year. They're not gonna
Wait,
disrespect
hold
him.
on. Yeah, but Peyton's going this year, right?
That's more than 5 years then. Payne's been retired since 2015.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So what is
That's
the
way more than 5
hold
years.
on, give me a second.
Steve is saying he's eligible after next year. Did Peyton wait for some reason then?
No, you don't wait. Dude, you can die and go into the Hall of Fame. You don't get to choose when you go to the Hall of Fame.
So why did it take Payne so long? That's kind of confusing.
Eligibility.
NFL HOF eligibility.
Yeah, I can't spell.
Okay, Duran is saying it's 5.
Yeah, 5 years. That's what I thought. Okay, the player must have retired for at least 5 seasons or years to be considered the seniors. The senior ones must have their last played. Must have. Who the hell wrote this? The seniors must have.
Bro,
last
I
played
was
their
okay. I knew
final
KB
game
was
25
capping. I'm
years.
like, what are you talking about? Peyton is going in this year. Peyton went in 2021.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he already went.
I was
don't
like,
know.
what are you
Yeah.
talking about? Yo,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
man swear to every single time
Bro,
we get
I
on
don't
this
watch
show,
the Hall of
he
Fame
just
things no more.
confuses
Those
people,
things,
bro.
I don't watch the Hall of Fame things no more because half of them freaking players I don't even know. I never even heard of before. So
Bro, just say you're a fake fan, bro.
they
Do
just
you
go-
even
they,
know
they
what?
just
Do you
they just
even know
put
what
it.
Peyton Manning's middle name is?
What was it? Archibald
Williams.
Williams.
Do you even know what Eli's full name is?
I think his Elisha
Yeah. Okay. What's his middle name?
Archibald. Archie. I thought it was
Nelson.
I thought Nelson. Yeah, now I remember. Yeah, Nelson.
Yo, I'm exposing.
No, hold
this
on.
man
I'm pretty
left and right,
sure
bro.
Eli's. Hold on.
Bro, it's next year. We got to move on, man. It's not that serious. We got to move on.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Okay. Now let's go. Before we move on, Mr. Greg Jennings, give me who is your 10 quarterbacks ahead of Daniel Jones?
Wait, as far as like top ten
Just
like
in general.
overall
Yeah, like
quarterbacks.
who do you have ahead of him in no particular order? I
I
want to see where he
gotta.
lands.
Okay, I gotta pull up the
He's definitely
freaking
top 15. We could both agree on that.
all starting QB. 'Cause I don't want to miss any of them.
Yeah, he's definitely top 15. We could both agree on that.
Yo, okay. Before we get into that, you know how many freaking starting QB lists I've seen that has Bryce Young and CJ Stroud over Daniel Jones? I
I've
wanted to
seen.
throw something at the TV, bro. Bro, you don't do that for rookies. You don't even know what they are yet. I can't stand that. And you know what's funny? I saw Trevor Lawrence when he was a rookie put all the way at the bottom. Why the hell was Bryce Young over all the way in the top 10 already? What the hell? Um, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Um, Why am I looking at
He's
Commanders
pulling up the
Wire?
list.
I'm putting up the list right now, guys. Hold on. All right. So, as far as top QBs are concerned, let me see if I agree with this top 10 list first. All right. So, Patty Mahomes, obviously, and Josh Allen, obviously, right? Those are 1 and 2, respectively. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and although I believe Justin Herbert's a bit overrated.
Herbert
Aaron-
over Hurts?
No, you said no particular order.
Oh, well, you started off. You said 1 and 2. So I was like, you going in order.
Oh no, well I'm looking at this top 10, this top ranked 32 by
Okay,
PFF
okay, got it.
and
So
Fanatics.
Herbert. Got it.
Aaron Rodgers, yes. Okay, Lamar Jackson. You guys know how I feel about this. Lamar Jackson's a better quarterback right now because
That's all we need. We don't need to get
yeah,
into it,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That's
it. That's
a
it.
better quarterback right now. I would say for
And
Jalen
that's very fair
Hurts.
to say.
Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones right now. But I want to preface this: if Daniel Jones had Jalen Hurts' supporting cast, I think Daniel Jones would be a far better quarterback than he is right now. I think he would have developed far quicker. But I will give credit to Jalen Hurts. He developed as a passer insanely over the course of a year. Trevor Lawrence, I think, should be in a conversation for top 5 soon. Kirk Cousins, I think Daniel Jones is a Kirk Cousins, so I'm gonna say Kirk Cousins is better. Not
Nah, I
that
can't agree with that, but okay.
well, he was my pro comp for coming out of the league, so I mean I
No,
can't
I'm
say
just
he's
saying I
better
don't
than him.
agree with Kirk Cousins being better than him.
Bro,
But
but I
go
mean
on.
he has to pass for 4,000 yards first. It is what
You
it
got
is.
it, bro.
Let's see. Kirk Cousins like stats like can get him into the Hall of Fame, no joke. If he
All
won a Super
right,
Bowl.
bro. Okay.
Look at his stats.
Yep.
Look at his stats, bro.
Oh,
Can get him into the Hall of Fame.
bro. Next quarterback, but we had 9.
Dak Prescott, hell no. I think Dak Prescott fell off. Tua,
Yeah, you don't. But yet you think Kirk Cousins is better. But go on, bro.
bro, Kirk Cousins is better than Dak. What are you talking about?
He's not better than Daniel.
I would love to see an argument for that. Tua, hell no. I don't know what the infatuation with Tua Tagovailoa is. I don't understand. I don't think he's good. I'm sorry. I don't think Tua's good. I think
He's one concussion away from living the rest of his life in a
I
wheelchair,
think
bro.
he underthrows every receiver he has. I mean, it's insane. Matthew Stafford, he's not even. I think
He kind of he was
tore.
one of our favorite quarterbacks, and he proved us
Yeah,
right when he went to the Rams and won a Super Bowl.
but he
But that
tore his
man,
arm
he's
right
about to
now.
fall off.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
well,
about to fall off, bro.
father time is approaching, bro. He's falling off. So no, not Matthew Stafford. Deshaun Watson, yes.
So that's 10. And let's see how far down the list Daniel
Derek
goes.
Carr, no. I think I used to be a big fan of Derek Carr, but he fell off. He's just like inconsistent as hell. Derek Carr, no. Geno Smith, no. I hate why are they putting Geno Smith so high up now? I don't understand. Jared Goff, yes.
Okay. Fair.
Yeah, I think Jared Goff's in top 10 conversation. I don't know if he actually is top 10, but Justin Fields, no, not yet. But Justin Fields has the talent to be better than him.
Justin Fields has a lot of Justin Fields is underrated and overrated.
Justin Fields is he's overrated by Bears fans, underrated by the rest of the league. But Justin Fields, I guarantee you, as much as I love Daniel Jones, next year Justin Fields
has just a great amount of talent and ceiling.
He has a great arm, the running ability, bro. He had 800 yards. Bro, no, he had
not to gush too much, but yeah,
wasn't he ran for 1,000 yards last year? Didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Insane, bro. Yeah, he has a talent to be better than Daniel Jones for sure. Bro, Russell Wilson. That's an interesting one because he fell off crazy with the Broncos, but he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
Oh,
That one's
well, he
hard.
didn't cook anything last year, so he did not
Well,
cook anything last year.
PFF has him at 20. I would have to agree until I see something else. Until I see a bounce back.
So far it's
Because
just 11.
yeah, and Ryan Tannehill, no. Mac Jones, hell no. Kenny Pickett, hell no. Yeah. So yeah, I would say
So you'd
he
have him at number 12, which is exactly where he's being paid as
is.
number
Yo,
12.
that's crazy. Yeah, we talked about that. I'm like, yeah, I think I have him exactly at 12 for me. So yeah, I think he's the 12th.
I would have
And
him at
that's
11. I would have him at 11 just because I would not put Kirk Cousins over him.
and yeah, that's arguable. What an improvement that is from him being one of the bottom quarterbacks in the league when
People were
every
literally ranking him as like 34, not even a starter.
exactly. People were ranking him so low. They were putting rookies over him. And I'm pretty sure they had Trevor Lawrence over him in a rookie year. I mean, Trevor Lawrence was great. I think he came into the league as a top 15 quarterback. It's just that he didn't have anything around him.
Trevor was the golden boy for a reason. Like, let's not get
Yeah.
it twisted. This man in 2019, when he was a rookie at Clemson or a second year at Clemson, whatever it was, everybody knew he was going to be the number one overall pick.
Yeah,
He's just one of those
if
guys.
you want to look at film on like what a quarterback prospect is, it's Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he might be the best quarterback prospect to ever come out ever. I mean, like there was like no blemishes with his game. But yeah, top 12 is fantastic coming from a sixth overall pick where the whole entire world booed him. So I think that's great. And I think he's perfect fit for New York. Like he is Eli 2.0, bro. I love this guy. I love Daniel Jones. And as much as I was on the Jones train. I was off it and I was on it again. And so we all went through that roller coaster ride. I don't blame anybody for like disliking him, then liking him again. I'm not like one of those people who'd be like, oh, stay on that side. But the people that like go out of their way to like bring him down and you're a Giants fan, I think that's kind of clown activity. But I understand how people are skeptical of him. I mean, I don't blame them, but I'm just a little bit more optimistic of him because of what I watch on film. I mean, like he has what it takes to be a top tier. And let me tell you, he has more talent than Kirk Cousins. I believe so. But just the track record that Kirk Cousins has had, especially fighting from being a fourth round pick and being a draft pick, a quarterback picked with a second overall quarterback in the same year, and how we fought through that, and him being like a consistent 4,000-yard passer no matter who's at receiver. I think Kirk Cousins deserves to be ahead of him for right now, but I think Daniel Jones past this year can
Chat,
pass him.
let's start a GoFundMe to get KB a Kirk Cousins jersey.
It's funny
Let's
they
do it.
both. It's funny they both wear 8.
Let's do it, chat.
Bro, he was my. He
Didn't
was
Kirk
my.
wear? Oh yeah, he did wear 8 in Washington. Why did
Yeah.
I think he wore
Well,
another number?
he wore 12 when he got drafted, but then he switched to
That's
8.
what I was out in my head. I was like, I thought he wore 12. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
he wore 12 when he was drafted.
All right, we got to switch over to the defensive side of the ball, and just somebody that fans they didn't necessarily pan him, but they were worrying way too early, and I'm glad he came out through the latter half of training camp and OTAs, and then in preseason he showed out so far, Mr. Deontay Banks. And I'm sure if you guys are on Twitter, you've seen it. It's been circulating through Twitter like for 3 straight days now. Deontay Banks, the only rookie cornerback, or it might have been only cornerback. Yeah, the only cornerback in the preseason with 33 or more snaps played and didn't allow a single catch while in one-on-one coverage. And then like he's allowing something crazy like a 13 passer rating when targeted or something like that. The rookie Deontay Banks. And KB, I just gotta say, I'm so glad that we have this performance, primarily because of what I said earlier. People were getting a little too worried, and this performance still doesn't change what I said earlier, which is not everybody is going to be a Sauce Gardner. Not everybody's going to be a Tariq Woolen in terms of rookie cornerbacks coming out of college, performing at a supremely high level right away and being able to lock up all pro receivers. But I'm glad I'm seeing this from Deontay because we don't need him to be that. It would be great if he's that. I just need him to be an above average corner for his rookie season. And even if he's not that, that's still not bad because he's a rookie corner.
Yeah. I think Deontay Banks got off to a slow start, and not even a slow start. He got off to a rookie start. I think everybody's going to show when you're a rookie corner, and literally the first play of training camp is a deep ball to you. You know shit's about to be extremely difficult for you the entire training camp. Okay, they intentionally went after Deontay Banks, and what did I say? And what did I say? This was going to create teaching moments early in training camp. So when he faces actual opponents, guys who don't wear that NY on his helmet, he is going to go out there and show his improvement. And he did exactly that. It's exactly what I predicted. Deontay Banks, was bullied, picked on in training camp, and he took that, learned from it, and went out there in these preseason games and has not even allowed a catch. Granted, is his film perfect? No, it's not perfect, but in the times he did kind of give up some separation, the times that he did, give a, respond to a release in a bad way, or he gets beat on a route, he doesn't get thrown the ball. They just don't look his way as often. He's not a guy that a quarterback is looking at, circling and saying, yo, let's target this guy. It's clear that these quarterbacks aren't doing that. It's clear that he's not being treated as a liability. So I know a lot of people have jumped off of the Deontay Banks train and kind of right on to the Trey Hawkins bandwagon. And, obviously with Trey
They
Hawkins
act like
performing
two
the way he
legends can't
was.
coexist, man.
Exactly. They're acting
They act
like
like two legends can't coexist.
they're acting like it's a bad thing that a 6th-round rookie is providing the same amount of production as a 1st-round rookie. I say the more the merrier, bro. I wish our undrafted rookies can perform like them. Like I don't care. I want it to be the toughest decision in the world for these coaches to cut down to 53. I want us to cut good talent because we have more talent. You know what I'm saying? So I think the Banks played extremely well. I have to go through the defensive film. I went through the offensive film for this game. I have to go through the defensive film to watch them. And I'll be posting that for if you guys are interested, like I did last week. I'll post the Trey Hawkins and Deontay Banks straight up film, no commentary. You guys can just watch every single play from them. And I know you guys liked that last week, so I'm gonna do that again probably tomorrow. But as far as that goes, Deontay Banks is looking good. I think he is a starting corner. I don't think anybody should worry about him like having a DeAndre Baker type of year or anything like
Oh,
that.
touch red, knock on wood. Please don't mention that name,
Bro,
man.
you're wearing red, and I got my Sith Happens shirt on, so I'll touch red. But yeah. I think Banks is a-okay. I think everybody should stop
I'm
worrying.
so glad. It's crazy. We can't
Vibes in here,
say
Eli.
this
I'm sorry,
enough.
bro. Eli in here.
Oh,
What's up,
shout out to
bro?
Vibes. I didn't even notice, man. What's up, man? I'm so glad, like, if we can't say this enough, the fact that we legitimately, it looks like right now, found 2 starting corners in the same draft in an off-season KB, where we're like, we kind of need 2 more starting corners on this team, but realistically, that's not going to happen. And
And here
like
we
I
go.
said, from this point in the off-season or the preseason, it looks like that. Joe Shane and his staff is like next level, bro. Because and the coaching staff as well, because we've seen from every video that the Giants YouTube channel puts out, from every question that they answer, the synergy between the coaching staff and the scouting department is insane. The coaching staff in the front office, every single video you see, for example, of Joe Shane talking, he always references them with Brian Daboll and Mike Kafka if it's an offensive player, and then he's always referencing Wink when talking about a defensive player that they either signed, like Bobby Okereke, or any of the defensive guys that they draft. Absolutely love it. I don't know why the synergy like that doesn't exist for more NFL teams, or why the synergy took so long to come to the Giants. But you can't. Joe Shane is just, man, what a great hiring that was. And Brandon Brown, who I'm mad that the Giants gave an interview to a press conference and it was uploaded to YouTube, because we need to keep this guy. The more you show him off on YouTube and have him have his own press conferences, the more of a chance he's going to be gone.
Well,
Do you want him to be gone, Giants?
apparently the new rule by the NFLPA is that the assistant GMs have to at least have 2 pressers a year. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Because we took an assistant GM in Joe Shane, and like ever since we hired Brandon Brown, a lot of people thought, or I should say, knew that he was going to be a really great addition to the facilities. Shout out to Ravon, man. What's up? And Giant Carbonator, who locks down the wide receiver slot position, Paris Wandale or Loki Cole Beasley. We'll get to that because I have a wide receiver slide prepared up. But to continue with the defense, we got to talk about somebody that got a lot of hate last year. So similar to Deontay Banks, actually, when you think about it, KB. Kind of unwarranted hate that this man got last year in his rookie season, Kayvon Thibodeau. And I don't know why. I think it's literally just because he
Didn't have 10 sacks.
he didn't have 10 sacks, but also
Yeah,
because, and I don't want to use the word flashy, but he's not quiet either. He's like somewhere in between because he's not super flashy. He's very savvy, is what I'll say. Super smart off the field with his investments and his money. And the fact that he's thinking about it already, thinking about life after football in the sense that he wants to be financially prepared for it, apparently that angers some people because that's really what it is. That's honestly is that and the fact that he didn't have 10 sacks. But I find that funny now that I think about it. Back to back first overall defensive picks for the Giants kind of get a little bit of unwarranted hate. But he looked really good as well. Absolutely
had a
Akeem,
fantastic sack.
busted Akeem Aquanu, man.
Yeah.
Just ran right past him. And that's I love
And that
Akeem
was off a
Aquanu.
tight end chip too. The tight end chipped him, and he still got past him.
What do you
So
think about Thibodeau? You think this was just already in him, or did he look a bit faster? Or what do you think about Kayvon, man? The closer, as his nickname
yeah,
is.
yeah, Kayvon, man. And shout out to Eli, bro. We would love to. That would be pretty dope. Have
He
a
already knows what now. He already know.
yeah, yeah,
Already
yeah, yeah. Hit us up. Hit us up. We here. We here. But as far as Kayvon, man, he's gonna have. Here's the thing. I don't know where. Don't ask me how many sacks he's gonna have this season because I don't know. But he is definitely gonna have a lot better. He's gonna have a more impactful year than he did last year. Obviously, coming off of that injury because Randy Moss's son was trying to make an NFL team and got a little too carried away and almost took out my boy's knees. But um, he came back and he finished with 5.5 sacks. Like if it wasn't for BJ Hill, he would have broke. Oh no, it was Aziz Ojolari who also had like 8 sacks in his rookie year or something like that. But besides that, he still had a decent year, 5.5 sacks, I believe, or 5 sacks. And he just looks a lot better this year. I don't know where that obviously him working in the offseason, but he just looks a lot better. He comes off the line a lot faster. He just looks more improved, especially looking at that sack that he had on Ikem Ekwonu. This is something that we saw last year, like the sack against Washington that for the touchdown, the sack against Baltimore, which is how he pretty much got the name the closer. Like he just gets right around that edge. I would love to see that more often for him to be just speed rush right off the edge mixed in with that power because looking at Kayvon, I mean, he is like slender in his frame, but he looks like he's just a strong guy. But you would not expect him to be as fast off the line as he is, man. That guy is so quick off the line. And yeah, he had Ikem Ekwonu. Was it really Ekwonu that he got around?
That was icky, yeah.
Love it.
That's why I'm
Love
like,
it.
hold up,
Love
bro.
it. Love it.
That's
Love
why I'm like, yo. We all said
it.
he might take that step his second year because he was injured his first year and he got held
Yeah.
so. I feel like we forget that.
He was. That's another good point.
Kayvon
That man
was
Kayvon was
held
held so many times, bro.
literally every single
Him and
game.
Dexter. Him and
You can't
Dexter.
go back to a game last year, KB, watch that game
Yeah.
and not see Kayvon get held
Exactly.
like multiple points during the game.
But
It was
remember,
getting
and
so
Dexter, it was
crazy
both
that
of them.
yeah, it was getting so crazy that we were like obviously we were both really angry about it, but at some point during the season we were just like, oh yeah, there goes another hold that's not calling Kayvon. Like it literally became
I think,
just
yeah, because of
normal
Trent.
thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know why they allowed it. I'm telling you, for some reason, they don't like this guy. They don't like Kayvon Thibodeau. Whatever it is, he's gonna prove them wrong. And I hope he gets those calls this year. Maybe he has a little bit more name recognition because he has with the referees because he's been there for a year. But I really don't want to see all of these holds go uncalled because if they're called, that works in our favor and it works in
Yeah.
his favor too.
And I don't
It was
wanna,
crazy
and I
last
don't
year.
mean to sound like all like sensitive and soft and like, oh, that's so nice. But like, bro, off the field, the guy's just a great dude. Like when you listen to his pressers and interviews and stuff like that, the guy's just a great guy. Like he loves his teammates, he loves his team, he loves his coaching. Okay, there was this one article that I read where Wink Martindale chewed him out. There was no video of this, but chewed him out in front of the whole team because I guess of an error that he made either in practice or in a game.
This should have been something last year.
but either in practice in a game and in front of the whole entire team, Wink purposely called him out and like reprimanded him and like told him what he did wrong. And Tibbs went in that interview and said, "I loved it. I wanted that. That's what's gonna make me better. Wink is the guy that told me that I can be a Pro Bowl all pro type of player, and he believes that in me. So of course, anything that he says, I'm going to listen to because he instilled that drive in me. So I just love his mindset. I love how much of a team player he is. I love how a coachable player he is. and he's like a perfect leader on defense. Like, I don't know if he's the leader on defense. There are a lot of guys that are leaders. Xavier McKinney is one of them. He's a guy that's a big leader. Bobby Okereke is another leader already
I
on
mean,
the team.
Dex is Leonard and Dex. That entire
Leonard
defensive
and
line.
X,
I mean,
they're
maybe not
all
Aziz,
very,
but yeah.
not Aziz, but like
Jihad? The Jihad is probably the most
Jihad's the guy
vocal
that,
one.
yeah, he kind of bands everybody together. But like, there are a lot of leaders on that team, or on that defense more specifically. So I don't know if he's the leader, but let me tell you, man, this guy is a guy that you want on your football team. He is a guy that you want on your football team for his character alone. So his talent is
And
just
then
part of it.
you brought him up, so I got to bring this up today. A series of very weird tweets from Xavier McKinney today. I don't know if you saw them. It 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 could be
He
related.
always tweets something weird, like something like heartbreaking or whatever. He always
Yeah,
tweets.
that's what it's along those lines. I'm like, and I keep wondering. I'm like, is he not happy with how contract talks might be going because it is a contract year for him, or does he just have a lot of personal issues? Because he tweeted out
Nah,
like twice today.
this is not, yeah, this is not the first. Like, this has been happening over the course of weeks. I don't know if he's going through a bad breakup or something. Whatever.
I
Uh,
this is gonna sound terrible. I hope he is. I
yeah, I
better not be
know.
by no NFL contract, man.
Yeah.
You better listen right here, man. You better know what you were. You are worth a
Look,
lot to this team, by the way.
look,
But we're not
look.
about to
He
pay to
says,
break the bank.
he always says something crazy, like August 21st. He says, "Love who you love because life isn't guaranteed." Smile, and then he posted a Bible quote here. And then let me see. Yeah, he has a bunch of quotes on here. He had never been sure about someone. Yeah, I'm sure. I think it's about his love life. I that's what I think it's about. But
I definitely think I will say this. I think he does look a bit faster off the line, man. No doubt he put the
Avon,
work in because he looks more in shape too. Not that he was ever out of shape, but I remember that one time when he posted the picture with his gut out, and people were like, "Whoa, he's not as cut as they expected." Like just because he looks like that doesn't mean the man isn't built of
he
pure
probably
muscle,
had
bro.
he probably had a soda or two, bro. He's just a little bloated.
Yeah.
That was
Like
it.
that even then, like some people are built just like that and they're just like pure muscle,
Yeah,
body
yeah.
types. But
But yeah,
he
he
does
does
look more
look.
cut now.
Yeah, I think he
And
just looks
yeah,
healthier. He just looks
yeah,
healthier. Where I know when he came back, I don't know, he wasn't rushed back, but when you come back from injury, you're not going to be the same as you were right before the injury. You know what I'm saying? So,
not right away. Yeah.
yeah, he definitely took a little bit of time adjusting. But bro, watching him play was this preseason. I did the film on him. He was looking good out there, man. He was looking good. He was
And then
consistent.
I remember I brought this up in our last podcast. I'm gonna bring it up again since we're on Thibodeau. Last year, a lot of times you'd see him drenched in sweat and huffing and puffing, and
Yeah.
it's like right after halftime. It's not even the full game is gone yet. He's mentioned that like his stamina and endurance training had to be changed because he was not prepared for the NFL, level of endurance that he needed, which is why he was looking like that last year. So it's gonna be great to see how he looks for a full game this year now. And let's get on to the next topic. I wanted to show this picture. I showed KB beforehand, but this is just a really cool picture, guys. Our starting four defensive linemen. I wish we could have some type of really cool picture with them because this is just greatness, bro. I'm sorry. This is just great. You got Dexter, who's literally one of the best, I would say, a top 5 interior D lineman in the league. Leonard Williams, who, when healthy, can break that top 10 list, but is definitely top 15 in my opinion. Thibodeau, who we all expect to be like, kind of the pass rusher of this group and to take that step forward this year. And Aziz, who's like my personal favorite, who I still think if he could stay healthy can match Kayvon. I'm still holding on to that. You guys could say I'm holding on too much, but I'm still gonna hold on to the fact that if Aziz is fully healthy for just one season, he could give us like at least like somewhere around 10 sacks, man. I'm telling you, it can happen. Because KB, before we switch to the next topic, when he was playing in games and he was healthy last year, he got a sack per game. Remember that. He was averaging a sack per game for
They
like
both had 5 sacks this year, right? They both did.
they both had around 5 sacks last
Yeah.
year, or
Yeah.
maybe Kayvon had around 4.
I think it
We
was
could
4. I
check.
think it was 5.5 and 5. But
Yeah, but let's go on to Jalen Hyatt, man. The man did a little meditation
he
in
said
the end zone.
he said he didn't even
He
know what
blanked
he was
out.
doing. Yeah, yeah, he blanked out. Like, he's like, okay, I'm gonna just sit down and meditate. All right.
I'm like, I mean,
He's
on
like, no,
paper, when it happened in real time, it looked fine.
yeah, yeah. When it happened, yeah, when it looked like it was like, I guess, preconceived, but yeah, Jalen Hyatt looked good. Here's the thing, though, there's a lot to take away from Jalen Hyatt. he needs a lot of work. He needs a lot. I'm not trying to be negative right now. I'm just trying to keep it real with you guys. He needs a lot of work. I think he's far from being a quote unquote number one wide receiver. He just doesn't have it all there yet, but his speed is undoubtedly there. Like you saw early on in the game, obviously Tyrod Taylor threw him that touchdown. It wasn't Daniel Jones. It was after the first drive. They try to get him involved with a jet sweep, and that's just not his game. I don't even blame Jalen Hyatt on that, bro. You just don't use him on that. Just because he's fast doesn't mean he can do everything like that as far as speed goes. But he was used from clear outs like that. Darren Waller out route was due to the fact that Jalen Hyatt, forced a clear out. The Darren Waller drop, which was probably the one of the best wide open plays there. It was because of Jalen Hyatt, who attracted like 2 or 3 guys downfield because how fast he got over. The Giants run that play. It's called the Yankee. The play concept is called Yankee, and the Giants ran that play so many times last year with the clear route, whether it be a post corner or a post or just a straight up fly route, and then an over, a crossing route underneath that. And the Giants were running that clear route with like Marcus Johnson. Okay, nobody's gonna care about Marcus Johnson running downfield. So
Respect Marcus Johnson? Question mark.
bro, the majority of the time the safety wouldn't even follow Marcus Johnson. They would just leave the corner one-on-one with him because he ain't catching that shit anyway. So it's just awesome to have Jalen Hyatt. Like I said, Jalen Hyatt is the type of guy that he doesn't need to get the ball all the time. He can be that speedy clear route guy to open up plays underneath for guys like Sterling Shepard, Darren Waller, guys that really do a lot of work underneath. And so, yeah, I think Jalen Hyatt's a great pickup for us, great draft pick. And yeah, like I said, he needs a lot of work. Like he cannot play in press coverage. He was put on a clear route earlier in that game. And Dante Jackson, who is not the biggest corner, okay? In fact, he might be one of the smallest corners. He manhandled Jalen Hyatt out of bounds, like just because he cannot handle press coverage. But what's interesting is that there's a video on Twitter of literally Sterling Shepard teaching him different releases to brace against press coverage, which is awesome to see. I love how Sterling Shepard. That's why I think
There's
he's
also a
needed on
bit
this
of
team.
like taking the ankles of Trey Hawkins on a route. Like Trey literally touched the grass, bro. That's how bad he
Oh,
took his ankles.
damn. Yeah, but yeah, he needs a lot of work. I think if people need to slow down with the whole number one wide receiver thing. I think people look at Jalen Hyatt's speed and there's like automatically think that he could be a number one receiver. There's so much that comes with being a number one guy that you can't just be a one trick pony. As much as that one trick pony term has been kind of used as an insult, I do think Jalen Hyatt is a one trick pony right now, but I don't think it's a bad thing. He's a 3rd-round pick. All right. Like he's picked to be a role player. He's not picked to be a number one guy. He's picked to be a role player as a 3rd-round pick. And I think eventually he can be that. He just needs a lot of work.
You think Jalen Hyatt was picked to be a role player? That's what you're saying.
He's the 3rd-round pick, and he's extremely fast and coming.
I think
I'm sorry. Hold on. Before we continue, I'm sorry, but if you watch the guy's film, he screams role player.
Let's make a bet on just like I should have made a bet on Jason Pinnock and a couple other players. But
I was with you.
I don't think he was drafted to be a role player. I think he was drafted in the same sense.
Let's define the term role player because I just don't want to get like in a debate or the conversation.
Okay,
and then
you tell me because you're the one that's saying role player. So you tell me what you mean by that.
I think a role player is a guy that is used in certain situations to play a specific part and you use the majority of the time used for that specific role. For example, Wan'Dale Robinson, as much as I feel like they want to use him as a pure slot receiver, I think when they came out in his rookie year, they wanted to use him on end arounds, jet sweeps, and small, shorter routes, not just like as a straight
Give me
up
an example of a role player from, say, the Buffalo Bills that's on the wide receiver position.
Bro, I don't watch the Buffalo Bills like that to really identify who's a role player or not. But
A wide receiver from any other team that's a role player wide receiver then.
A role player wide receiver, okay. Just think of anybody who's like extremely speedy. I would say like Ted Ginn in his later years was just a role player. Ted Ginn was just like a guy that go downfield and catch the ball because he was extremely fast. Like
after 2015, because 2015 he was like the leading receiver of the Panthers. I say like you're talking after.
Well, they needed him. Yeah, they needed him that role. But I mean, you can I don't have any on the top of my tongue right now. I have to go through the depth charts, but
MVS.
there are role players that can be one. That can be
Okay.
one.
So
But
I think I would still disagree with you. And what I was going to say is, I don't think he was drafted to be a number one either. I think he was drafted to be very similarly how the Bills drafted Gabe Davis, and they developed him over a year or two, and he became their number two receiver now. And I bring up Gabe Davis specifically because they had the same wide receiver coach in college. They went to different colleges, of course, but Gabe Davis's wide receivers coach, or the one that coached him up, was the guy that was at Tennessee for Jalen Hyatt, and they both have very similar skill sets. And of course, the Buffalo connection with Dayball and with Joe Shea. And I think they drafted him in that sense, not to be a role player, but not to be a number one either. Maybe he can develop into a number one, and I really hope for that. But I think he could be like a number two receiver for us. That is what I was gonna say.
well, when I was talking about like they drafted him to be a role player, I wouldn't say they're like that was only his throughout his career. He's gonna be a role player. That's not what I was saying. I
No,
was
I
saying that
agree. I agree.
when they,
But we're
I
talking
was
about
saying,
what we think they drafted him for, and I
I,
don't think they drafted him to
I
be a
was
role
saying,
player.
I think in his rookie year he's drafted to be a role player.
That's
That's
different.
Well, what when I prefaced it, when I used the Wandale
Yeah.
example, I said in his rookie year they wanted to use him on specific roles, but they eventually want to use him as a slot receiver. That's the same. That's how I feel about Jalen Hyatt. I don't think they're good. They really want to go out there and put him out there as a number 2 or 3 receiver
Oh yeah.
consistently because he's just not ready
And
for
then
that yet.
the crazy thing is next year we're gonna have Darren Waller at tight end. I do think Jalen Hyatt could be our number two. Maybe Wandale is our starting slot, and then we gonna have you know what I'm saying, we gonna have my man T Higgins as our number one receiver, and we gonna be cooking with grease.
No, yeah,
We
trust
gonna be
me. No,
cooking with grease.
I want to like make something clear. I do think Jalen Hyatt has potential to be like a number 2 receiver. Like I do think he can do that. What I'm saying is right now is I don't envision him starting this year. Besides injuries, or like I said, how the Giants are, they'll start people based on the situation, based on the the matchup, right? But I don't think he's gonna go out there and be a consistent starter and a guy to be used on an every down basis. Like I see him being utilized the way I see him utilized in the preseason right now. He's constantly taken on and off the field between plays based on what the situation is. If they need a clear out, they're going to put Jalen Hyatt in, so on and so forth. Because you guys seen how when he was, I'm not saying that he can't run routes, guys. I'm not saying that right now, but I'm saying that when you saw him run those drag routes, those over routes, how fast like those defenders closed on him and how he wasn't able to get yak yardage. To me, he slows down way too much on those in breaking routes, like those drag. I don't know if he feels like he's going too fast. He slows down. So when the ball is thrown to him, the defender's right on his back and he gets no yak yardage at all. How many plays did he have that just went behind the line of scrimmage, or he didn't get any yards after the catch when he was catching those in breaking routes? So, I think they just need to play to his strengths right now and kind of utilize where his strengths are at, and that's downfield. As a downfield runner, I don't think there's any. Here's the thing, like I said, one trick pony, role player. Those are all used to kind of describe players in a negative sense. I don't think it's negative. He's a third round pick. When you draft a third round pick, sure, would you want to get some starting value out of him? Absolutely, but when you draft somebody in the third round, you're probably going to get a guy that is going to get significant playing time, but absolutely have a role on your team, but not be a consistent guy. If he's good enough and if the times present itself, sure, he can be a full time guy. But I don't think if you really watch Jalen Hyatt's film, I don't really think you could consistently see him on the field 24/7. Not yet, not yet.
Yeah,
But
not yet.
yeah, not yet. But yeah, listen, he's grown already. He's grown already. Like to me, I'll be honest with you. In Tennessee, I thought he ran terrible routes in Tennessee, and I could see that he definitely changed that. I'm pretty sure that was coaching. I'm pretty sure that was the players around him in the wide receiver room helping him out, and he's gotten a lot better. So yeah, I think he'll get there. He'll get there.
All right, and then to go back up to Rayvon's question, since we're on the wide receiver, and I did say we'd address it. Who wins out the wide receiver slot position? Paris, Wandale, or Cole Beasley? It's Paris, bro. It's Paris.
Paris,
I
Paris.
think it's Paris hands down.
I
I
don't
think he
think Juan
has. Oh, go ahead.
Wandale's gonna. I heard like you were right last week. I think Wandale's coming off the pup. I think that's way too early. Way too early, bro. He got hurt in November, the end of November. What the hell he's coming back for? We have so many wide receivers already. But yeah, Wandale is coming back, and yeah, but Paris is looking so good. I mean, how can you take him off?
Yeah. Not only does Paris look good, but he's the most talented out of those three names, in my opinion. Paris Campbell was a highly touted receiver in his draft class for a reason. Yes, it didn't work out yet, and we're gonna see if it can work out with him this year. He's had a little bit of the injury histories, but his talent is there and his speed is there. Most
I
importantly,
think he's the
the
best receiver out of the group, but I think Darius Slayton's the number one receiver because of the chemistry with Daniel Jones. That's what I
I still
think.
think it might be Hodgins, but we'll see.
I
I
don't
still
know.
think it might be Hodgins.
I don't know. It's just that Darius
I
Slayton,
think
like he's
Darius Slayton
so
might get the most targets.
yeah, possibly. Yeah.
But what was I saying with Paris Campbell? Yeah, yeah. But with Paris Campbell, he has that talent, and most importantly, his speed. Everything about this Giants team, offense and defense, is speed. They preached that. The coaches have preached that. Joe Shane has preached that. Brian and Brown has preached that. This entire wide receiving group, as you can see, is just built off speed, and Paris fits that. Funnily enough, the only in our three starting wide receivers right now, the guy that isn't really a speedster is Isaiah Hodgins, but he's still a good wide receiver. So
Bro,
we'll see
he's
how that goes.
shown that he had 2 plays in 2 games already in the preseason that he caught a short pass and evaded a tackle and ran for extra yard. Like he's shown that he could be a little slippery. So I like that from him. He was showing he can move a little bit, man. So I like that. And he is short. He has short hands, bro. He don't drop nothing. That's what I love about Isaiah Hodgins, bro. He does not drop the ball. I love that.
Hmm.
He catches all those passes so cleanly. Like it hits his hands and it does not move. No wobble at all. So that's great.
And then I made it by accident last week, but it comes in handy now. I just want to start off, KB, by saying this is I'm not a Jets hater. But what I'm about to say is gonna sound like I'm a Jets hater. All right. We all know Jets fans. There's no Jets fan watching this, but if somehow this comes across your desk at one point, we all know and you know that the Jets are little brother to the Giants when it comes to being a New York City team. All right. The Bills is that weird cousin that's the only one technically in New York, but nobody really talk about
The
them.
weird cousin.
But we all know the Jets are the little brother, just like how the Nets are the little brother to the Knicks. It don't matter if you're better, just like how the Nets had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and we're
Still couldn't
clearly
win a
better than
ring.
the Knicks. Still could have won a ring, by the way, but we're clearly better than the Knicks. It wasn't even close in terms of talent, but the Knicks still run the town. Y'all can go trade for Aaron Rodgers and have the clearly better quarterback, the Hall of Fame quarterback, and have a very comparable, and I won't even argue with you if you say they have a more talented overall roster because
Hell yes. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's well
their
rounded.
roster is well built, man.
That is
And
one
I
of
don't
the
want to
most well built rosters in the NFL right now.
exactly, bro. I don't want to gush on it too much, but their D line stacked, their edge rushers stacked,
Secondary
good enough
stack.
linebackers, secondary stacked, weapons stacked, O line good enough, and quarterback obviously like they are stacked at almost every single position. So I won't argue with you if you say that. But you could go get the Hall of Fame quarterback. You could go build that incredible team you got over there. And I want you to know you still gonna be little brother, bro. I'm just Aaron Rodgers came to town. You ain't seen nearly as much talk about the Jets as you should see. If I'm gonna keep it real with you, you should be seeing way more. You're seeing a little bit.
Yeah.
And the whole reason I'm bringing this up is because this is such a little brother thing to do, bro. Go get all the flashy things to try and get out the shadow. Do all the flashy stuff to try and get out the shadow. And yeah, everybody's still focused on the Giants for the most part.
Mm.
Our quarterback ain't out here causing, well, not that Aaron Rodgers causes any drama, but like, this is gonna be my Aaron Rodgers hater side
Headlines.
coming out.
Headlines. They're just headlines.
But he's in headlines, and then they literally asked DJ today. Our quarterback is like so quiet and so out the media spotlight. They asked him today, Jordan Renan, of course. What do you think about quote unquote sharing a city with Aaron Rodgers? And Daniel
Bro,
Jones, bro, you know
yo,
what his response was?
Jordan asked the same thing to Brian Dable, and Brian was like, I don't care. Brian
Bro,
was like,
that was literally Daniel's response. He was essentially like, I don't care. He was like, I haven't spoken to him since he's gone here. I'm just focused on being a good quarterback for this team.
yeah. I was like,
Literally,
Jordan,
like, yo,
shut up, Jordan.
we do not care.
We do
And
not
now
care.
y'all are gonna ask. I said it. I prefaced it by saying this is gonna sound like my ultra hater rank
We
for the
do not
Jets
care.
because it does sound like an ultra hater rank for the Jets. But I saw this because we're about to match up against you in the preseason, and we're gonna match up against you in the regular season as well. I just want y'all to know that no matter what happens, you're still gonna be little brother.
Did you see what? Did you watch the newest episode of Hard Knocks?
I watched the
So
first two though.
yeah, they were talking a little bit about the upcoming Giants game, and they were saying, there's Robert Saleh was like, yeah, we're gonna get ready for this next preseason game because everybody treats it like a real game. And I'm like, ooh, I like that. Everybody treats it like a real
Except for
game,
us,
except
we
for
don't.
us.
I was
Yeah,
about to say this goes directly into the actual conversation.
yeah.
Unless you want to add on to my hater rant, which feel free to add on to the hater rant. But they're gonna play their starters, and we're just like, we already did that. We don't gotta do that. You can do
Yo,
whatever you want.
let me tell you something. I've never hated the Jets at all in my life. Like I don't even care. I'd never
I
concerned about
have the
it.
same
Bro,
feeling about them, bro, that
I've
I do the
rooted
Commanders.
for the Jets. I've wanted the Jets to be successful just because like I said, I had that little brother sort of thing to us. Like, okay,
Like if,
I only
bro,
I could beat up on you. You know what I'm saying? Only I
exactly.
could.
If
Nobody
like,
beat up on
bro,
my little brother. Only I could beat up on my little
listen,
brother.
KB, we're both gonna be in the playoffs this year. I'm gonna be rooting for the Giants. I'm gonna be rooting for the Jets too
Yeah.
because they're a New York team.
Well, here's
The
the
only
thing.
time I'm gonna root against them is when we go against each other. That's
Yeah,
it.
but here's the thing. I don't want them to be better than us. I want it to be a situation. Same thing with like the Knicks and Nets situation where it's like, okay, they clearly have the better team, but who's gonna finish like with the best record? You know what I'm saying?
You know why I don't care about that? Because weren't they better than us in 2010 and 2011 or something?
Yeah, you know,
And they
2020.
still ain't got to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And we got the Super Bowl in 2011. So we were so
They
close to
had a
seeing a
better
Giants
record
in the
though, I
Super
think.
Bowl. Huh?
They had a better record that year, I think, though. Unless you're talking about just who goes farther in the playoffs rather than record. Is
Wait,
that what
I
you're talking about?
record and who goes farther in the playoffs.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I just want to see. Here's the thing. I don't want
What up, Luke?
because I don't want the Jets to be like looked at
Oh,
as
we got
like
some real haterade in here, by the way. We got
yeah,
some real haterade
yeah,
in here.
one's only have one good rep. They're in a situation like the Giants with their receiving core where they're gonna have to cut good talent on the receiving core that's just stacked up.
I mean, thank you for Jason Pinnock, Jets. I appreciate that.
Yeah, starting safety, and he's looking good. Somebody said earlier where it's like safety is not a problem for us. Yeah, Duran said safety is not a problem for us, and it's not. It's not a
I told
weakness.
KB 2 weeks ago on the first episode, and I'm glad he came around. I know it took him 1 week. He came around right away.
I know
Came
yo ass
around.
lying. I know yo ass
Did you
lying.
forget when in the first episode
You
when we were
were
talking
a
about
Dame.
safety?
I was the Jason Pinnock guy. You were the Dame Belton guy. What are you
No,
talking
no,
about?
no. I'm talking about safety in general, not Jason Pinnock. When you said you're worried because Julian Love is gone, and I was like, I think the
Oh,
talent we have can make up for it,
that.
and you came around on
Well, that
that.
was secondary in general, not just safeties. That was secondary in
Yeah, you
general.
came
But
around either way.
I came around on that because I've seen how good the corners are going to be. Like I was legitimately a little bit concerned about Deontay Banks, but the rise of Trey Hawkins really helped. Yo, forget about like Trey Hawkins and what he provides. I think it helps out this. It's going to help out the slot. It impacts the slot a lot more because you're gonna. They're hot take. I think they're going to come out a Dory in the slot week one. Week one. I
Hmm.
think they're putting a Dorian aside. They are not going to take their chances. They're not going to play all these games with Cordell Flott and Darnay Holmes to see who sucks the worst. They're going to go out there and try to put the best corners out there. Wink Martindale said it himself in the press conference that just won me over and convinced me that they're going to do this. He said, right now, we're focused on playing our best three corners. And right now, those are our best three corners. And that makes
Hmm.
sense. When you go out there and you construct your offensive line, what do the coaches always say? We want to put the best five offensive linemen out there no matter who they are. Same thing with the cornerback situation. On top of that, Adoree coming out of the draft was slotted to be a slot cornerback. He's smaller. He's more agile. He was supposed to be a slot cornerback, but due to circumstances in Tennessee, they put him at outside corner and he thrived. But now he can actually play. I don't want to say his natural position because I don't think he plays slot at USC. But
Because of situations he's been put through with us over the past 2 years. He's good anywhere, but he's obviously
yeah,
thrives in the slot. He's good anywhere
yeah.
now though, which
I
I love.
I think they should put him in a slot and Trey Hawkins out there in the outside. I think that's what we're gonna do week one. I really do think that. But yeah, I'm excited for this preseason game with the Jets because we're gonna be on Hard Knocks again. We were on Hard Knocks last year when Khalil Pimpleton came to the Giants, and we'll be on Hard Knocks this time. And it's gonna be fun. Hopefully, we get some
That's
interaction with
kind
Brian
of oh
Dable.
yeah, I guess you're right. You're right. We'll
Hopefully, we
see at
hopefully
least from the other side. Yeah.
yeah, hopefully we get some interaction with Brian Dable and some of the players. Here's the thing. I don't want my starters to play. I don't. But if they do play, I want them to get some screen time, bro. I want them to talk about Daniel Jones, bro. I really do, bro. So bad. I just want Daniel Jones to get some spotlight, bro. Freaking remember his name, bro. I know it's a basic, boring name, Daniel Jones. I know. But it's like, bro, Danny Dimes out there, bro. I don't know, man. This is very oh yeah, CJ. We talked about that before when we were first discussing the potential Adoree to the slot. Yeah, we talked about the comparison with DRC when he went to the slot in 2016, had 6 interceptions that year, moving over for Eli Apple, who was not a slot corner. He's an outside corner, and they were like, "Hey, DRC, you're more so suited for the slot. We want to put our best three corners out there," and that's what they did. They put DRC in the slot. So yeah.
Yeah. And then when it comes to the actual preseason matchup with the Jets, there really isn't much to talk about here, just because of what I said earlier. I mean, they're going to be playing their starters because it's for them. That's what works for Robert Saleh and that coaching staff. And
Because they haven't played their starters yet. That's why.
they haven't played their starters yet. And oh, I'm gonna sound like such a hater. To me, they just been running from competition, bro. I'm gonna keep it real with you. It just looks to me like they've been running from competition, and then it's preseason.
I think they're
It's
just
preseason, and they've
I
been running from
think yeah,
competition.
I think they're just scared to get people hurt. I think they want to keep the roster as good as it is right now because I think they're trying to avoid anybody getting hurt because their roster looks so perfect right now.
They ran from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and Tampa Bay, y'all better thank us for letting you loan our field, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah, what happened with that second practice? They oh yo, if you watch if you watch that new episode, bro, that first practice, you know the reason why they freaking canceled the second practice? Because the
Why?
first practice there was over 5 fights. 5. It
Yo, the
just kept
Jets, by the
happening.
way, the fights happen with almost every single team in every offseason, but the Jets have had the most this offseason, and it's clearly like
Bro, it was
there's
5. There,
it
Aaron Rodgers was
it's
like, "Bro, this might be the 5th one." Aaron Rodgers was
it's
just throwing at
clearly
stuff.
something, bro, where it's like, all right, does the coaching staff actually have control over some of these players? Because you've seen more headlines about them with fights than any other team this offseason.
Well,
And didn't they just have two players retire, bro?
well,
What's his name? Corey Davis retired, and before
Corey
him, another
Davis
player from the
retired.
Jets retired. Who was it, man? Why am I forgetting their name?
Uh,
Somebody else from the Jets retired
I think
recently.
you're talking about the Eagles and Miles Jack.
Oh, you're right, Miles Jack. I was. My hater
Yeah,
glasses is just on.
it's the
But
green, too much green.
bro,
Yeah,
listen, Corey Davis retiring. Why he retire, bro? You're about to have probably the
that's in,
greatest year of your career.
that's interesting too because Corey Davis is talented. I think he's talented, and I think I just think he didn't want to compete. There's too much receivers there, bro. The receivers is insane. There's too much receiver. I think he was fighting
He
for a
could have
spot.
asked. He could have just asked to been cut or something.
Yeah, right. I would have just took the cut and you're
Retire is crazy.
Corey Davis has decent track record that he can get picked up by a team. So I don't know.
We might have picked him up, even though we already have tons of slot receivers.
Yeah, yeah. But
See
yeah,
what
I'm just interested to see how that plays out, man. How that plays out.
All right, man. But y'all, let me know what you guys think. KB, unless you got anything else to add. I know this was definitely the shortest section, the last section, but there's not much to talk about when one team's playing their starters and we're gonna be playing our backups. We're
Yeah.
obviously gonna be looking to see who the end of the roster guys are gonna be. As of right now, I think we're comfortable with our starting positions. The only depth position I'm really concerned with was the same one I said last week and the same one I said the week before, depth offensive line. Not too concerned about depth anywhere else. I'm just really concerned about the offensive line because I feel like if one of our really good players go down, knock on wood, we might be in trouble because our backup offensive linemen do not look good. Anything you're looking for in this preseason game, KB?
I'm looking. I don't know if they're gonna play because they are considered starters, Trey Hawkins and Deontay Banks, even though they're rookies that they might get some playing time. Because they
I
are
kind of do want to see them, yeah, because they're rookies again.
that's kind of the biggest thing I want to see is how that I don't know how many series, how many drives Aaron Rodgers is gonna have because they're pumping up freaking the Jets, bro. Robert Saleh, you can tell Robert Saleh loves the fame. He loves the lights. He likes the lights pointed at. He likes the camera on him and stuff like that. He just loves it. He likes the attention as well. He like pumped up that this is an important game, the Snoopy Bowl, Giants Jets. Our starters are playing. Bro, watch them only play
Oh,
like a
yeah, can somebody
series.
explain to me? I'm being so serious right now.
Watch
I
them only
mean,
uh-huh.
they should be saving that hype for the actual like season game we have this
Yeah,
year. But can
yeah.
somebody explain to me where the name Snoopy Bowl came from? I never knew how the name
Met
came to be.
MetLife the in the commercials like that, they use Charlie Brown.
So they use it just because of the name of the state. Like, bro, at least the Yankees and Mets have the Subway Series. It's not related to like City
Yeah.
Field or something, bro.
Yeah, yeah. But like what are you gonna I mean it's called MetLife Stadium. MetLife is there it's always been
You,
called MetLife Stadium,
I
so
mean, I mean, not always, only for 10 years. You tell me back in the day when it was Giants and Jets games, they didn't have a name for it.
no.
The New York Bowl, like even something boring like that.
No, no, no. It was when they made the stadium
Spike
that's
on the
called
Jersey Turnpike or something. I don't know.
Spike on the Turnpike. What the hell? But yeah, it's called a Snoopy Bowl.
Hey man. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Shout out to everybody. I appreciate it. Slowly getting back into the groove of things.
Oh, are
Um,
we a 3-4 or 4? We're a 3-4. We're a bait.
we're everything.
It's
That's a lie.
3-4, but it's like a nickel. It's just
We're
nickel.
like everything. Aren't we
Yeah.
also Tampa 5 or something?
No, no, no. You talking about Tampa 2? No, we're not Tampa 2.
Tampa 2. We're everything, man. At this point, this you know how I know you don't watch basketball that much, but because of just how good players are at moving certain positions or being versatile with certain positions, like this positionless basketball is becoming more and more of a thing. And I think it's the
Yeah.
same thing with NFL defenses. I think defenses, I don't think they're ever going to be truly positionless, but especially with the not the front seven, but the back guys, so the linebackers and the cornerbacks, I think that's becoming more and more positionless.
Well, remember, just like edge rushers, like a lot of these off-ball linebackers are turning into edge rushers. A lot of these edge rushers turning into off-ball linebackers. Like that's what the 3-4 is really for. It's for a lot of these positionless guys that kind of can be rotated around the line and put in different formations. 4-3 is more so set for certain positions. Like you got 4 down linemen, 3 off-ball linebackers. You know what I'm saying? But 3-4 is a lot different. You can get a lot more fluid with it. And, with the rise of guys like Tyrann Mathieu, he's probably the guy I can go back as far in my memory, a guy that can be everywhere on the field at once. Like he started off at the nickel corner, then he moved to safety. He can play all those positions. So yeah, that we're really getting just a lot of athletic players now, really athletic players that can be all around. So and it helps confuse the offenses as well. So yeah. Yeah, I agree. We're getting more sort of like a positionless defense sort of thing.
Got it. But nah, is there anything else to add, KB, before we end it out for tonight?
No, keep if you guys are not subscribed, subscribe to my channel and subscribe here as well. We do this show every week on Wednesday, alternating channels, Wednesday 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. I'll be posting all throughout the week. I got a couple things um slated to go out in the next couple of days, so you guys subscribe for that. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
All I gotta say is I'm gonna try to get the call-in show started next week, Tuesday. But obviously, there's more immediate things on my mind. Like I mentioned last night, I'm getting up early, bro, to try and get to like the nearby auto glass repair shop to see if they could just literally all they got to do is either put on the old rubber seal on, or if I got to run to a AutoZone or something to grab a new one so they could put it on, I'll do it.
Mhm.
Because that's it. I don't think that should take too long, but I just hope they can do it tomorrow morning. That's it for now, though, guys. Have a good one, and we will be out. Peace.